Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin. 25 years ago tonight, they were between Earth and the Moon, preparing for one giant leap. There are a lot of space happenings in the news, from comet fragments to reptiles aboard the shuttle.
But the biggest space story making headlines actually happened a quarter of a century ago. Millions of people nervously followed Apollo 11's voyage to the moon. Astronaut Neil Armstrong of Lebanon says the toughest part of the mission was just getting there. In this 12 News special report, One Giant Leap. Come back to a time when America joined together for one of the biggest achievements in history. It hangs over the backyard nearly every night, a bright light 244,930 miles away. It would take more than a monumental effort to bridge the expansive gap between the Earth and the Moon. President Kennedy set the course in 1961.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
8 years later, Apollo 11 sat on the launch pad at Cape Kennedy. 3 astronauts were about to be shot into history. They would ride to the moon in a rocket longer than a football field. The mighty Saturn V weighed 7.5 million pounds. A lot of rocket for 3 astronauts who weighed 165 pounds each. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins climbed into a van after finishing breakfast on July 16, 1969. 15 minutes later, they squeezed into the tiny Apollo 11 capsule to begin 2 hours of pre-launch tests. Thousands of NASA employees worked intently as the clock ticked.
The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues. 4 minutes and counting. We are go for Apollo 11.
The eyes of America, the eyes of the world for that matter, were on Launch Complex 39.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6.
Powered by 7.6 million pounds of thrust, the astronauts of Apollo 11 began a journey to immortality. 2 minutes and 40 seconds after liftoff, the Apollo 11 crew was 40 miles up and ready to turn it up a notch.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius.
Having jettisoned the massive engines that hurtled them into space, the astronauts separated the command service module from the lunar module. And then, like threading a giant space needle, they docked with the lunar module and continued the 3.5-day trip to the moon.
Loud and clear now, Mike, and we understand that you are docked.
That's right. Hello, Apollo 11. Houston, we'd like you to press on to star 44, over.
These modern-day explorers relied on the same stars Columbus and Magellan used to navigate.
How far out are we now, Charlie?
You're now 177,000 miles out, over.
There were other, simpler tasks as the days continued, and after meals of such delectables as freeze-dried pot roast and cheese cracker cubes, it was nothing like some nap time. The astronauts of Apollo 11 would need their rest. After 3 days of travel at speeds of up to 24,000 miles per hour, this is what loomed on the horizon.
Perigee plus 00085. 00764.
The safety of the Earth was far away. The uncertainty of the moon was below, and the astronauts were about to face obstacles that would challenge their years of intense training. Well, tomorrow night, see how the Apollo 11 crew nervously raced against time and overcame difficult obstacles as astronauts hurtled towards the moon's surface. They had a couple of minutes in there when they didn't know if they're going to make it or not.
Really?
Yeah, there were, I think it was about 20 seconds left of fuel before they finally shut down.
The nerve of these guys is pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And do you remember what you were doing when you were watching Neil Armstrong walk on the moon? Oh,
Yeah,
I remember it vividly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's one of
was
those
very clear.
moments in time that I think everyone remembers.